You would not believe how smooth this stucco is. I mean, this is like baby's butt or something. This is amazing. Real fine, super fine grit they must use on it. Anyway, one of the other gentlemen here was telling me that you can get it over on 4th Street in Albuquerque at the um, Stucco Plaster store there. I'll link it in the description here. And I'm going to check out the materials. It's pretty amazing stuff. I've never seen such smooth exterior stucco on a building before.
My name's Charles Vickeray, architect, project manager with the National Park Service. I started in this building as a drafter in 1991, working part-time while I was going to Northern New Mexico School in their drafting program. Eventually decided that I wanted to be something more than a drafter, and had good counseling there, and went on to UNM and got a degree.
So, my name's John Jordan. 10 minutes ago, I was elected chair of TAG. There's that. So I had to be there. So just to remind everybody, this is a working federal building, right? So let's try to stay together as much as possible. There's no video. They requested that we don't do video inside the building. It's just part of the nature of a federal building that shouldn't happen. It's okay on the exterior?
Yes, yeah.
And so there's that. So feel free on the exterior. On the interior, please be respectful of that. If we play well, there's a possibility we could do another tour at the upcoming Earth USA here in Santa Fe, the International Earth USA Conference.
So, this building, Old Santa Fe Trail Building as we call it, was Region 3 headquarters for the National Park Service. It was designed by Cecil Doty under the direction of John Gamim has been known as sort of the father of the Pueblo Revival style. And the thought, of course, was that the vernacular, the building would sort of grow out of the site. Many of the elements and the ebb and flow of the building is indicative of the site. As we go through it, it's not accessible by. It's been made accessible to some degree, but it's not. Navigating a wheelchair through here, even on a tour like this, would be sort of difficult. But we would make it happen if necessary, of course.
Can I get up the ramp?
Yeah, but there's a lot of steps, especially in the offices. The building sort of moves down the site. Now, of course, it was started in 37, finished in 39. Then the annex building is what we call it, which was originally the caretaker's quarters. According to the drawing, was finished in 41. It was soon converted to offices and also wood shop, maintenance shop, and remained so until 97, and we actually made it a mail room and moved the office, the shop out into the garage area. Let's see. Let's see. The building was recently restuccoed. You may have heard this in the news. And we actually took the opportunity at this point to completely remove all the plaster off of the building. There had been no campaign of removal. We had just continued to add on and add on and add on. And so a lot of the undulation of the parapets you see here was lost. If you think about it, if you're doing a cake, you continue to put icing on it, and icing on it. At some point, it's going to lose its shape, and so that's what had happened to the building. So we were quite surprised as we were removing the multiple layers of plaster and stucco that there was all these steps in the parapet. And luckily, the mud coat that was there survived us pulling off the stucco and things. And so and so we endeavored to put it back to that state. One of the other things about the stucco is you'll notice that it is a smooth finish, and that was again another discovery we made as we removed the multiple layers. This was the original style of finish of the stucco. There was a lot of discussion early on that it was never cementitious. It was a mud coat, but all the documentation I was going through leading up into the restuccoing of the building in 2017 through 2020. It took us that long to. Actually, I started in 2012, going through the documentation and getting it all ready, going through a lot of studies, seismic. We even tested the stucco for asbestos. We did find it because it's naturally occurring in the materials that were used to put on the building. So, but nothing in a dangerous form or quantities that were hazardous. Though we took our care that we made sure that we treated it as such. So other things we found was that parts of the building had been lost to water intrusion into the walls, and so in the early 60s, 61, 62, they actually put cement block back in the building instead of Adobe. So the two buttresses here on the front are actually not original to the 1930s. A wall back on the back of the building is not original to the 1930s. The site wall over by my office is not original to the 1930s. And we understand why, because it's a porous material. If you don't clear the snow off of it, it seeps in. Even now with this brand new stucco, you can see the effervescence that it's occurring in the material. Other things that we found as far as Adobe's concerned, let me backtrack a little bit. The building was built in phases. The first phase, budget-wise, was for the entrance and this wing you see here on the east. That was considered the first phase of the building, and which included what we call the great room now, which was actually the accounting office. And you'll see why when we get inside. So they had actually started on the second phase, which was the north wing here, around the courtyard, and on into the third phase before they even had funding for it. They didn't want the CCC and WPA to go work elsewhere, so they kept them working here. And so they begged and borrowed from different agencies to fund it until the appropriation, congressional appropriation, caught up with them. We never got a full set of drawings on this building. They were drawing it as they went. So by the time we reached the fourth and final phase, and there was the annex, it didn't quite come together. It's interesting when you're going back through drawings and you're trying to find something. It's a little bit piecemeal. So let's see, what other important things? Let's about the exterior. The gate this gate is the last remaining original gate on the building. And it's interesting, you may want to go over and open up and look at the inside. It's different than the outside.
Didn't you do the metalwork on it too?
What's that?
Didn't you do the
I did not. The gate that was stolen, someone liberated our front gate. We rebuilt it. I actually forged the new hardware for it as one of my hobbies. And then somebody liberated it. And all the hardware was gone too. This happened, I think, 4 months ago. Something like that. So if you see a little wooden gate, And I stamp my name and the date on the back of it, as we do with historic fabric. We want to make sure it mixed up with something that was created in the 30s. It's my thing. It's already, it should come back to us. Let's see. All with the exception of 2 of the vigas ends that protruding from the building are not original. There have been many campaigns. As a matter of fact, you probably know folks at Cornerstone that they had actually were working for the National Park Service when they developed what we call the bandolier replacement method of screwing on new viga ends on the building. So most of these have been done. We assumed they had all been done at one point, but we did find 2. They are still remaining. We did stabilize them so that hopefully they can remain.